What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Friday. It's time to put together our NFL Week 18 parlay. The parlay I gave you guys last Friday cashed so easily. I even gave you guys that bonus parlay on Monday Night Football, another easy winner. The whiteboard winning free pick last week, another easy winner. On the whiteboard this year, 22 wins, only 9 losses, a 71% winning percentage. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on today's video as well. I know this video is going to get thousands of views, but if just 300 people can tap the like button, I'll actually load up that comment section with some premium. So definitely hit that like button, run this video up, guys. Speaking of premium, man, just on the usual grind, it's absolutely crazy for you guys not to be on my text list. 2025, not a single losing day. We've been through 2 days, 2 nice winning days, a 4-1 record, up over 6 units. Even $100 better has already made over $600 with my picks just 2 days into the year. And even better than that, guys, 4 straight winning weeks in the NFL and premium, up over 30 units of profit. I know some people hesitate to get on the text list because maybe they only bet $25 a pop or even $10 a pop. Look at that, guys. The last month of NFL, up over 30 units. Even if you were betting $10 as your unit size, that's over $300. An entire month of my picks, all sports, all access, is only $89. It's absolutely worth every single penny. And I have another max play this week. I'm 4-0 in my last 4 max plays. Guys, this one's a big one. NFL Week 18. It's a tricky slate. You got to avoid some stuff, but there's some stuff to smash. And we are going to absolutely take advantage of one of the best opportunities I've found all year. My biggest max play of the entire year. Get on that text list, guys. I'm sending out plays tonight to the client list. You guys, of course, when you sign up, I'll already send you what's been sent that week. It's a no-brainer, man. The link to my website, you guys can see it there in the bottom. I'll pull this up, though. Link to my website is right in the description of this video, danspicks.net. The weekly, the monthly package, it doesn't matter what you get on there. I'll add you right to my text list. The texts go right to your phone. The plays, the odds of those plays that I locked it in at, and how many units I put on each one, just copy it and you're going to be in good hands. Can't recommend it enough. And of course, guys, the whiteboard winning free pick this week, that video was already posted. It's in my full NFL Week 18 prediction video. So go check that out as well. But in today's video, man, another parlay. I've been just god at these parlays lately. Hopefully we're going to cash another one in today's video. Really, really like the slate, some of these games in particular for props, and we're going to take advantage of that. So yeah, really excited for this one. Let me make sure I got enough paper here. You guys should do this too. Grab some paper, grab a pen while I do this video. Because I'm just kind of doing this organically. I don't already have the props ready to go. I'm just going to do it in front of your very eyes like I always do. But here we go, man. NFL Week 18. Let's go. Let me adjust the screen for you guys. We're going to pull up Outlier software. Let me just switch this back. You guys should be good to go. Here is Outlier. I'm already logged in. So we're going to click on NFL. We're going to go to our filters. This is why Outlier software is so cool. We can just filter down out of the best stuff. We're going to take advantage of the Steelers-Bengals game. Going to skip a lot of these crappy games. We're going to look at this Bucks game. We're going to keep going down here. We're going to look at this Chiefs game just a little bit. Seahawks game. And of course, Sunday Night Football. Vikings, Lions. So we're going to filter it down to these games. Actually, let's go back to filters. I like to do this as well. Let's go to the actual props we have an interest in, because we're not going to be betting on like crazy stuff like extra points or, tackles or like really, really weird stuff. So I love to just use Outlier's filters and just pick the best stuff that we're actually interested in. So let's look at pass attempts. We'll look at that. We'll look at passing yards. We'll look at receiving yards. Receptions is a big one. We will look at receptions. Rushing yards and rushing attempts is important. And we're going to keep going down just a little bit more, and we'll put in touchdowns as well. So we got 89 results for that. By the way, guys, the reason why my parlays hit at an extremely high rate is mainly because of Outlier software. You guys can have access to this completely for free. There's a free trial. You can get an entire week of this, which is really smart right now while we still have the last big slate of NFL regular season, Week 18. Take advantage of it. The link to Outlier software is labeled right down there in the description of this video as well. At least use the free trial. You can use it for NBA, any sport you want. But it is just a godly tool in the sports betting industry. at least take advantage of the free trial and test it out. But it's worth every single penny. I'm just thrilled to have it. That's why I've been cashing so many tickets lately. So let's start here, guys. Jordan Addison failed to exceed 5.5 receptions in 13 of his last 17 games. You know what? This is why I like outliers. So this is kind of suggesting the under to us, but we can actually go to the data here. Let's look at the last 10. And that's what I like to see. So out of the last out of the last 5 there, 6, he's had 4+. So I'm going to write that down. Addison's had 4+ in his last 6 games. Receptions. I really, really like that. I think he's going to have a big game. I think in this Vikings-Lions game, I mean, we all see the total up there in the upper mid-50s. There's going to be points, right? I don't know if it gets that high. Who knows? Maybe it's 70 points. Maybe it's in the mid-40s. I don't really know for sure. But there's going to be points. These teams are going to have to score. They're going to have to pass. And we all know the significant weakness here, this Lions team, is against the pass. And you would think the main game plan, now you can't stop them, but you have to at least make an attempt to slow down Justin Jefferson. Some people could argue that Addison is good enough to be a number 1 wide receiver on some of the NFL rosters. So I expect him to do just fine in this game. You can see his last 4, 6 catches, 5 catches, 7 and 8, 4 before that, but then another 8. So, in recent form here, guys, he's absolutely been cooking. So it's nice to just be able to look at that data there. Amon-Ra St. Brown has exceeded, 1+ touchdown in 11 of his last 14. I think we're going to skip on that. I mean, touchdowns are the more risky thing. I like him to score. I think he's going to score in this game, but he also is the one that draws the attention as well. And at only +100 odds, I don't think it's worth it here. We're just trying to build one parlay for the entire week. Look at this. Tim Patrick, not interested. Gibbs failed to exceed 4.5 receptions in 10 of his last 13 games at home, averaging 3.1. Well, if he's averaging 3.1, we might look at him just to get like 2+ and throw that in, because without Montgomery in there now, and with such a big game and so much on the line, I really do expect Gibbs to be used in both the rushing and the passing game in this very game. So we can even click on this a little bit. Let's look at the last 10 for Gibbs. Now we're going to focus here on these last 4, because obviously the Montgomery thing has changed. So all that data going back too far is not a huge thing. But we can also look here, guys. Key Minnesota receptions, the defense, they're ranked 31st. I mean, it's really, really bad. Versus the running back is 12, but not anything crazy there. And the Lions, they have got to use Gibbs in this game. So I really do like the recent data there on Gibbs. We'll definitely take an interest in that. Sam Darnold failed to exceed the passing attempts. Yeah, but they've been comfortable leads, so they've been kind of leaning on Aaron Jones a little bit in some of those games. Not really concerned with that. Amon-Ra St. Brown has exceeded 75.5 receiving yards in 8 of his last 10, averaging 101. My God, that is pretty significant data. We will write down St. Brown in this one. We can click on that a little bit further. Let's look at the sample size as well. So, I mean, if we're going to go 40+, he's gone 9 straight games with at least 40 yards receiving. And this game, he's really going to need to step up. I like it. Now, his average is a little bit skewed because of some of these standout games, but just consistently getting 50+. And there's only one game where he got the 40+ and didn't get the 50+. This was, not even on the radar there, but St. Brown, 50+ yards. I think that's definitely worth it. Justin Jefferson as well, man, exceeding 91.5 receiving yards in 4 of his last 5, averaging 108 per game. Doesn't even matter if you try to slow him down. You literally can't. The dude is a god. Jameson Williams, he's doing good as well. I mean, the props in this Vikings-Lions game, it's just a great game. The offenses are just going to flourish, man. If the Lions still had a fully healthy defense, I would say otherwise. They don't. So they're going to have to score. And Minnesota, they're going to have to keep up. Cam Akers, touchdown, not looking at that. So St. Brown has exceeded 6.5 receptions in 12 of his last 14 games versus top 10 defenses as far as receptions allowed. So right now, I already looked at it earlier. Minnesota has allowed the most receptions to opposing players here. You can see, guys, look at this. This is unbelievable data here. Just one game, he got 5, 6, The rest were all above 7 or more. St. Brown, 5+ receptions. That's got to be a lock. Definitely going to consider that. Justin Jefferson on the touchdowns. Love the prop. It's a good straight bet. Not going to go in our parlay. Gibbs as well. This is one where you could take a shot. The Gibbs touchdown, I think, is worth being in the parlay. I'm not going to do it because I really am going to do my best to cash another ticket for you guys in today's video. But my God, Gibbs is definitely going to score in that game. Jared Goff, his passing yards. I like this one, averaging 292 at home. They're going to need him, man. They're going to need him. Jared Goff, I'm going to write down 200+ or maybe 225+. We'll see what the odds are in that. Definitely think we're going to take a look at that. Hawkinson, I like Hawkinson as well. So Addison failed to get 63.5 receiving yards in 4 of his last 5 games on the road. So the yards are only averaging around 60, but the receptions were, pretty good looking. So I think we'll look more to the receptions instead of yards for him, as Justin Jefferson and even Hawkinson seem to be the home run hitters for the yards. Justin Jefferson has exceeded 6.5 receptions in 5 straight games, averaging 8 of them. We have to at least write it down, man. Justin Jefferson exceeded 6.5. So maybe we'll just put him in to get 5, just 5+. Let's look at the last 10. There's a couple outliers. There's only one game. There's only one bad game in there, and it was against Chicago, which was a blowout. I remember that game specifically. But look at those last 5. Look how strong that is. And look how consistent it is. 7, 7, 7, 10, and 8. That looks great. And, Detroit right now, that defense is horrendous, especially in the secondary. And we know the Lions are scoring, so the Vikings are going to need to pass the ball to keep up. Jared Goff failing on the passing attempts, but not by much, still averaging almost 30 a game. That's pretty high, so I like that for his passing yards. Williams on the receptions. Yeah, he's kind of hit or miss. He's kind of a home run threat. Hawkinson has exceeded 42.5 receiving yards in 15 of his last 19 games. That is quite a sample size. 80% hit rate over almost 20 games. That is significant, averaging 60. We're going to write down TJ Hawkinson alternative receiving yards. I don't really want to go with the receptions, but if we're just putting him in there to get us like 25+ or something, I think it's worth a look. Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Gibbs on the rushing attempts. If this turns into a complete shootout, I don't know how much running of the football we're going to get, so I don't really want to mess with rushing in that game. Maybe with Aaron Jones a little bit, but I'm not really sure about that. Darnold on the passing yards. I don't really like the data, though, because Minnesota's been so successful that they haven't really had to pass, right? This is a game where if the Vikings want to win this game, they're going to have to pass. They're going to need to score a lot of points if you're going to beat Detroit at home. It's just hard to believe that it's just not going to be a back and forth game, only averaging 232 passing yards, but he's getting almost all that in one half and then just not really passing much more. So yeah, I don't love the data there. I still kind of like Darnold with his passing yards. Those receivers for that line secondary, yeah, I like it. Geno, Metcalf, totally hit or miss. Geno's interesting because of his incentives. I think he needs about 180 something. That's obviously a rushing prop, but just Geno in general, he needs some passing yards to have a nice payday. So Geno on the passing attempts, don't love that. They could take him out early as soon as he gets his number. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's kind of come back down to earth. Interesting. Jimmy Garoppolo, don't want to touch that. Smith and Jigba has exceeded his receiving yards, but again, I don't know about the quarterback situation with the Seattle game. A little bit risky there. I just kind of wanted to involve the Seattle game on this list of filters just in case, there was some Geno Smith passing data that looked good in that one. Javonte Williams, maybe his rushing. If Denver's up big on Kansas City, he should be running the ball a lot in that second half. So maybe look at his rushing there. Tyler Lockett, kind of gave you guys a couple hints on him, and he's actually kind of picked up the pace here recently, but now it's kind of a back off on that. So Keep looking here. Bo Nix. Geno on the rushing, DK Metcalf on the yards. Yeah, again, just not really interested. Geno Smith failed to exceed 245 in 5 straight games on the road. So that looks bad. He's only averaging 205. He needs it like 185 for his incentive to get a payday here. You're playing the Rams. It's going to be, it's not going to be like in bad weather or anything like that. This is one where the data is kind of telling you the opposite, and you have to know the situation first and foremost. I think Geno's worth a look on the passing yards. We'll have to see what his number set at on FanDuel. Mike Evans failed to exceed his receiving yards in 15 of his last 19, only averaging 70. But again, a guy with incentives, man. He needs somewhere a little under 100 yards and I think 5 catches. We'll look at his receptions. Baker on the passing exceeded 252 in 5 of his last 6, averaging 300. That's nice. That's good numbers. So Baker, alternative passing, we will write that down. I think that's worth a look. Jaylen Warren, rushing yards. I like it. Jaylen Warren, rushing yards, averaging 42.9, going against the Cincinnati defense that just doesn't have it, man. They just can't play defense. 39.5. Maybe we'll look at the odds on an alternative rush for Jaylen Warren just to get us maybe 25 on the ground. The only thing is, I've mentioned it before, when you're looking at a two-headed monster like Pittsburgh has with both Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, if Najee's just having a smoking good day, sometimes Jaylen Warren just won't see the field much, and vice versa. You put in an alternative rush number on Najee Harris, and sometimes Warren is just the guy who's having a great game, and sometimes they just ride the hot hand in Pittsburgh. And with the Joe Burrow offense, with that Cincinnati offense, I think there's an opportunity for this game script to kind of be, Pittsburgh needing to pass and needing to keep up. Maybe they'll try to counter that with the rushing game to keep Burrow off the field. So we'll definitely take a peek at it. Joe Burrow here. Let's get down to some of these Cincinnati props. These make a lot of sense in my opinion. Joe Burrow has exceeded 285 through the air in 4 of his last 5 games. Averaging 328. I mean, we have to do it. We have to look at Joe Burrow alternative passing yards. If the price is not priced right, we'll pass on it, but we at least have to write it down. And we'll keep going here. Jamar Chase. Let's look at his yards. Failed to exceed 94.5 in 7 of his last 9 on the road. 99.8 a game on average. So, I mean, the data's kind of conflicting there. It's basically neck and neck. We know he's got to get his points if they want to win that game, get his yards. Pickens, kind of a hit or miss player. Austin, totally hit or miss player. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. They do like to use Warren out of the backfield. He's exceeded 21.5 receiving in 4 of his last 5 games. Maybe we'll look at a reception for Jaylen Warren. I feel like that's a little bit risky with a running back. Mike Gesicki, no thank you. Najee Harris also exceeding 45.5 rush in 5 straight games at home, averaging 81.2. I think although they kind of go head to head, him and Warren, Najee is the one. He is the number 1 back there. So we'll look at Najee alternative rush. 40. He's gone over 45.5 rush straight, 5 games straight, averaging 81.2. I think it makes sense to put him in at an alternative number. He's going to get, he should get 50 plus. I mean, that's a great straight bet. This is why, Outlier software is so good. Minus 110 right now. You can have him over 45.5. That's a good straight bet. But we'll look at the alternative for the parlay. So write that down. Rushing attempts, exceeding on the rushing attempts as well. That's a good look. 16.6 rushing attempts. Love to see that. It's a good sign that he's going to get his yards. Russell Wilson failing on the passing yards, but he's played some really, really good teams lately, especially in his last 3 games. So if you're looking at a sample size of his last 5, I just don't think that data is good. They've gone against some really good teams. And that's it, guys. That's the list. So let me go ahead and bring up another tab. We'll bring up FanDuel Sportsbook. We'll start running through these prices. We'll pick what makes sense. We'll pick what has at least decent value. And we'll put this parlay together, and we're going to cash another ticket, guys. These are, that's just a pile of really good stuff to choose from. Really, really good stuff to choose from. So let me bring you guys over to FanDuel. And let's go. NFL. Scroll down here. Let's start with this Pitt game. Start on Saturday. Let's do it. Let's scroll over here. Passing props. Joe Burrow, man, he set at 284. Let's go to alternative passing for Burrow. 175, juice to crap. 200s minus 900. Take it. It's first leg. Joe Burrow to get 200 yards. You know what? If he doesn't get 200 yards through the air, they're not going to win the game. They're not even going to be competitive in this game. Joe Burrow has got to be successful through the air, and Cincinnati has a recent injury to Chase Brown, their running back. I really just, and against the strength of the Pitt defense in the front there, I don't see any sort of rushing attack from the Bengals. I see them throwing the ball. I see nothing different than we've seen in recent weeks. Joe Burrow getting a lot of yards through the air. Should be a competitive football game on the road. He's going to have to pass. Joe Burrow, 200 plus. Let's go to receiving props. Take a look at maybe Jamar Chase. He's up at 92.5. We didn't really have too much of those written down. We didn't even write down Jamar Chase, to be honest. Jaylen Warren, we were kind of looking at some of the stuff. Let's go to rushing props. We really like Najee Harris there. Let's go to alternative. Najee Harris, alt rush. Let's put in 25 yards. I mean, guys, we just looked at it on Outlier. He has gone over, he's averaging a ton. I mean, what was that stat? Let me go right back to it, guys. I'll read it to you. I mean, that was crazy. He's exceeded rushing attempts. He's way over on his rushing attempts, 16.6 a game. That's excellent. At 16 rushing attempts a game, he only needs to average like a couple of yards a carry to get us our number. He's exceeded 45.5 rushing yards in 5 straight games at home, averaging 81.2. We need about a quarter of that. Najee Harris, 25 yards. That's going to be on the list. And I don't want to choose him and Jaylen Warren in this game. I think we're going to keep it to just this for this game. Joe Burrow, 200 yards passing. Najee Harris, 25 yards running. Wordy at minus 261. I think we'll leave Saturday alone with that. That's definitely going to, those two are going to come through for us, man. More than likely. So let's keep going here. Let's go down. Let's keep going down. Let's click on this Tampa Bay game. We were looking at Mike Evans a little bit and Baker's passing. Fortunately, looks like the props aren't available yet for that game, so that's okay. We'll just pass. We'll just go with what they give us for now as I'm building this parlay. We'll go back down. We'll go to that Sunday night game, which is just a banger. Actually, let's look at Geno, see if they have the props for this one. They do not. So they're a little bit slow this week on the props, which makes sense with the incentive, with the playoff. You guys probably aren't going to see, props come up for all these games until super, super late. Something to consider there. But the Sunday night is such high priority. We're going to have props for this one, and we do indeed. And there's so many in this game. We're going to be able to get to our plus 100 target price with absolute ease in this game. So let's go to passing props here. Jared Goff, Sam Darnold. I mean, are we crazy? Are we psycho to believe both of these quarterbacks aren't getting 200 yards through the air? Both of them. It's happening. Both of these quarterbacks, unless one gets hurt, and that's a possibility. Anything's possible in sports betting. Both of these quarterbacks, man, this is a shootout game. These are great offenses. Both of these quarterbacks are getting 200 passing yards. So we're already at minus 132. Touchdown. I mean, we could probably do we just throw that in? Throw it in. I know it's juicy, but it's going to happen. A single passing touchdown for Jared Goff. Same thing with Darnold, man. Throw it in. We're already at minus 104. Both quarterbacks. We're going both quarterbacks, man. 1 touchdown and 200 yards from both quarterbacks. Sunday night, giant game, everything on the line. It's happening. It's absolutely happening. Let's go to receiving here. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra at 75.5, Addison up there, Hawkinson as well. We were looking at Hawkinson with the yards. We were looking at Addison with the receptions on Outlier. Justin Jefferson juiced over at 6.5. St. Brown, same thing, juiced even more to the over. Addison's at 5.5, juiced under. Hawkinson, 4.5, juiced under. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4.5. It's juiced under, but he's up at 4.5. So I like what we have available here. Let's go to Hawkinson on the yards. We're going to go 25 on that. We're not going to go receptions on him, but we're going to go yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're going to skip the yards as well. We're going to go receptions on Addison. We're going to go 3 for him, and we're going to go Jahmyr Gibbs to just get us 2. Oh, it's 1,800. 1,800. Do we go with 3 for Gibbs? No, we're just going to pass. I wanted a better price on simply 2 catches out of the backfield. I'm not going to go with 3. And guys, look at our price. Look at the price on our ticket. We're at plus 170. We're at plus 170. What is possibly going to come up short in this ticket? Both quarterbacks, 200 passing yards, and a touchdown in a game that has a total in the upper 50s. Done. Jordan Addison, 3 catches. Should be no problem. Hawkinson, just 25 yards. Should be no problem. Joe Burrow, 200 yards, and Najee Harris, 25 yards on the ground. 8-leg prop parlay, NFL Week 18, plus 168 odds. Now, that's a lot of legs, but it's plus 170. You guys have got to let me know in that comment section, out of those, what's the riskiest part? I mean, if this is going to come up short, what do you think is going to bust this parlay? I like it. I think it's going to hit. I'm not going to bet a ton of money on it. Obviously, it's not a premium thing or something. It's just something I do here on YouTube. But I'll put some fun money on it. I really like it. Plus 168. It's a beautiful price. So, guys, let me know about that. And, again, you see my numbers, man. 4 straight winning weeks. You don't think I'm going to close out the season with my 5th straight winning week? You don't think I'm going to go right into playoffs and kill those as well? We're dialed in with the bowls. I haven't missed a single playoff bowl bet in the second round of the college football playoffs. So dialed back in with college football and college hoops, man. We're behind the 8 ball a little bit on the record. We're sitting at like 15 wins and 21 losses. So 6 games under 500. We've made a couple dozen bets. By the end of the college basketball year, man, I have hundreds of bets. Last year, I was almost like 58% winning percentage in college hoops. We just started conference play, so college basketball going to start to increase with volume close to on a daily basis and soon to be on a daily basis here as we get into the meat and potatoes of college hoop season and NFL kind of winds down. So that's kind of what's coming, guys. I'll probably have another video out tomorrow as well. I'll see you then.